What is wrong with you? I don't get it. This movie's amazing. Why? What don't the critics like? Listen, you made my voice go high. It takes a lot to do that. And why is it that whenever I get angry, I suddenly become American? Anyway, in case it wasn't half obvious, I loved this movie. Everything about it, the characters, the story, the plot, the atmosphere, the graphics, just the acting. This had no right to fail at the box office. Why is it that good movies are suddenly failing at the box office? Bumblebee at least had an explanation. We had 5 garbage films before it, and people were just tired of it. And you had a slew of great Marvel films that just satisfied everyone's needs and desire to be properly entertained. This? I don't get. You had James Cameron as the producer. That was everywhere. Robert Rodriguez being allowed to be creative, like Sin City levels of creative. He was perfectly in his element here. See it while you still can. Please. Just give it your money. It deserves everything. Okay, with that out of the way, what's the story? The year is 2563. Alita, portrayed by Rosa Salazar, or rather the remains of Alita, was discovered by Dr. Tyson Eider, portrayed by Christoph Waltz, who rebuilt her and made her his medical assistant. They live in the Iron City, even though it's basically just a New York ruins, but it actually looks interesting. Hell, even a little bit on the amazing side. Ruins that look amazing, like you almost want to live there. I don't know how they did that, but they did that. But moving on. Alita ends up living with the Doctor, learning about the Iron City, learning about the history, what was known as the Fall or the Great War. Ever since that time, humanity has been kind of split between the extremely wealthy and the extremely, let's just say, ambitious. During her time in the Iron City, she meets many a colourful character, such as Hugo, performed very well by Keenan Johnson, a kid who's streetwise and yet sometimes seems morally conflicted. I won't explain why, because of course that's spoiler territory. She also meets another character, a woman by the name of Dr. Chiron, performed by big Jennifer Connelly fan, okay? Chiron is an interesting character because she has a connection to both the Doctor and to Alita in some respect. But I can't give away anything, of course, because, you know, spoilers, I don't do that if I can help it. Jennifer Connelly, as you would expect, plays this role marvelously. I actually do want to talk about this, but I think if I just give away just one word of how she's further involved, it would spoil the story that much. But let's just say that she's one of those question your humanity kind of characters. During Alita's time here, she learns very quickly about how it works in the Iron City. There is some very good, very serious law enforcement, for the most part, but it's also held in check by bounty hunters. Usually cyborg bounty hunters. One of the most famous ones being Zapan. Or Zapan, I forgot how to pronounce his name. Portrayed hilariously and even a little scarily by Ed Skrein. Or is it Ed Skrein? I'm good with pronouncing names, really, I shouldn't be struggling. Ajax from Deadpool, okay? That should cover it all. But then there's this mighty huge cyborg known as Gruishka, performed by Jackie Earle Haley, who I had no idea was in this movie. And man, does he steal the show whenever he's on screen. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. And yet kinda cool. Except for one particular moment which made my wife cry, and let's just say some things felt very satisfying in the end. He's after Alita because of the thrill of the kill. As we go through the story, Alita learns more about the people she's with and the environment around her. Some deep dark secrets, some deep dark histories, even about herself. So, overall, I thought this movie was just amazing. I absolutely love it. The acting was on point with every character. I never thought I'd sympathize so much with a cyborg ever since, well, RoboCop, I guess. Rosa Salazar brought such humanity to this character. And also was in charge of the makeup or the CGI here because they made anime eyes work. That is all I can say. But she really gave it her all in this, and you know what? I'll say it. It's Oscar-worthy. Same with Christoph Waltz, but it seems like everything he does is Oscar-worthy. But I don't think he'll be nominated for an Oscar because, well, it wasn't Quentin Tarantino who directed him. Kenan Johnson definitely shows promise to become a major star. And of course, it's Jennifer Connelly, who I think can do no wrong. Even when she somehow does wrong, she makes it right. But all the side characters, all the side actors, they're wonderful too. There's this one character who I was quite fond of as well, a bounty hunter who has robot dogs. That kind of says it all, doesn't it? That just says how cool he is. A bounty hunter who uses robot dogs. I wanted more of him. There are so many characters that you just wanted to see more of here, because they are somehow so well developed just by their looks. But that's not even really a nitpick, because they're not the focus. The focus is Alita, who goes back and forth from being ever so adorable to really damn terrifying, but terrifying for the right reasons. And again, I can't give enough props to Rosa Salazar. That was an amazing performance. I also learned not too long ago that this is actually based on a manga, an anime. I never actually heard of Alita Battle Angel before then. Bit of a sin, I know. So I actually don't know how faithful this is in terms of an adaptation. I don't know if it follows closely, I don't know if it follows loosely. What I do know is that, from my perspective, this is the first anime to Western movie adaptation that actually worked perfectly. I think. Again, I don't know if it follows loosely or closely. At least not yet. But seriously, think about it. Usually for a Western adaptation of an Eastern story, they usually have to make their own Western version of it. For example, The Seven Samurai. Unless it's set in space or some sort of alternate reality, you're not going to take American samurais with any suspension of disbelief. But 7 cowboys helping a 2-bit town, that will work perfectly. Yeah, think about it, that's what they had to do. Because if they did try to do it straight from the adaptation, oh, we all saw what happened there. Though you could also argue that it was a lack of the right talent or the right minds that these movies failed. Right minds, especially in this case. But with Alita, I'm going to say it, this movie is practically flawless. Yes, there are some things you can nitpick, but even the greatest masterpieces have something to nitpick. Such as, well, despite its 2-hour runtime, it somehow felt a little too quick in some spots. You could have developed more in terms of the actual lore of some of the side characters, or why there is this disparity between the Sky people and the Iron City people. Granted, they do go into details about that, but it did leave me wanting more questions answered. But that said, that's why there's hopefully going to be a sequel. All signs point to a sequel. James Cameron himself said that he's very interested to see that happen. Now, I've spoken relatively loosely about this film, I must admit, but I honestly think that one giveaway of any kind, one small detail, would spoil the experience. All I can say is 9 VAM mics out of 10. You would have to be a fool not to see this now while you still can in theaters. You don't have much time left. Do it. You won't be disappointed. Thank you for listening. And if you have seen Alita, leave your comments down below what you thought of it. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Tell us why. If you like this video and you want to see more, remember to hit that like button and press that subscribe button. That way, you'll be able to see more of us, give you more entertainment. This is David J.G. Doyle, signing off and thanking you.